This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Loyal Subjects M.A.S.K vehicle, the Mobile Defense Unit, better known as the Rhino. Generally speaking, I don't watch reviews of stuff before I do my reviews because I don't want to be tainted, so to speak, but I saw a ton of videos pop up about quality control issues with the M.A.S.K vehicles from the Loyal Subjects. Oh, that was weird. I think I might have pissed off a ghost for some reason. I decided to jump into the big bad with all the problems, or most of the problems, and do this review. So this is the BBTS exclusive version that comes with Tbob and Scott Trakker, as well as Matt Trakker and Sato. So the front of the package is just artwork. The top of the package here shows what you can do with it going from its semi-truck mode into the battle version. The side here shows like the wind vane or whatever turning into a radar dish, which was always kind of stupid even as a kid. The missile launcher, and the new addition to this, the Winch. The other side, we see the battle ram, the front-mounted cannons, the smokestack effects, and the battle ram bumper. Here on the back, we see everything that's supposed to come in this set. The blast effects are shown, the little mini vehicle in the back, our extra figures. And finally, the bottom, which is upside down. We see the controls and the ejection seat, as well as a little mini pod that the back of the truck turns into. More stickers for me to love. Also, just want to note here, this is how this came. So they did a really crappy job of packing these things in at the factory too, when you get right down to it. I don't know, you can see this, right? The instruction sheet and sticker thing here. It's ready to come out already. Like, if it wasn't for the tape, that would have been lost. So let's go ahead and open this up. Here are the stickers. Actually, there are surprisingly few stickers, it looks like. I am surprised and very happy by that. Let's just note for a moment, actually the back of this looks kind of cool like this, but it's kind of weird. Like, looks like they actually painted the plastic. Like, this tray looks like it isn't actually black plastic, but maybe it's painted plastic for some reason. I'm not sure, because you can see, obviously you can see through the front there quite a bit. There's also plenty of room back there. They could have done some other things with this, like, because Tbob and Scott here are supposed to be exclusives to this set as special items. Honestly, they could have separate packaging for those two in there, you know what I mean? Also, looking at this, it doesn't seem like it's as shiny as it's supposed to be. I will say this, I like how super easy it was to get everything out of there. There's that winch. Ooh, wow. That does not sound good. That sounds very tight. And not good tight. Alright, so I don't know. Debating if I want to do these two as a separate review from the Rhino itself. We'll decide that in a little bit. Alright. Remember, the Rhino for Big Bad Toy Store is supposed to have like a premium finish on it. It doesn't look particularly premium to me. I do like that they painted the inside of this thing, so you really could kind of get away without putting stickers on. Although also here, they did put, let's see if we can show that. Right under here, there is a sticker already in place. So let's talk about one of the first problems that people have talked about with this vehicle. It's this. They were saying that there are clips missing and it doesn't stay in place, although it does seem to be staying in place pretty well. Like, I'm kind of whacking this around a bit. That didn't sound good. And it's not coming loose. And for a lot of other people that I saw who were complaining about this one, this did come like popping off and wouldn't stay in place. Ugh. There, we got it out of there. So let's take a quick look. All right. I am thinking that this may actually have a different holder to it than the original version did. So just real quick, I got my old one here. Yep, let's move that out of the way here. So this is what holds it in place, kind of, are these little clips here. And I would say they're actually a little, the bottom one is smaller, but the top one is bigger on the new one. But for another bit of a comparison here, let's actually pull out this thing. Because like I said, people were talking about some clips. And I don't actually see any additional clips on the new one or the old one that aren't already on there. So right off the bat, it seems like, I don't know, maybe there's something that got fixed in production. Maybe not, but I am not seeing the same problem with this that I saw with that. Although I do think it is still a little bit not as tight, maybe. So if we look at this, this is how much this one wiggles. Not a lot. Again, we'll put this back in place. I'm going to get these figures and stuff out of the way. I mean, this is obviously looser than the old one was. But it is actually staying in place on mine, at any rate. Though I can kind of see... Actually, in fact, I have problems getting it loose. It does kind of feel like this thing is not positioned quite correct, though. Like, this is very loose here. Oh, I guess it's also the same on the old one. Because that's kind of how it comes loose. Okay. So let's just set that aside for right now. All right. Here is another set of problems that people are talking about. The door and the smokestacks. So in order to get the smokestacks down, you have to manually move them out and push them down. Ugh. However, they're loose when they're up here. So that's not good. They seem fairly tight down there. But again, once you put them up there, they're a bit loose and that falls forward. This door also does not stay closed. Sticker's not in there very well either. So, yeah, this is a quality control issue right here. This door is very loose. The other side actually does stay closed fairly decently. But, you know, the ejector seat is supposed to open and throw somebody out. It does open fine. Oh my god. Although, clipping things into place doesn't seem to be going very well. This thing... Oh, now it's not doing it. Like... So the battery ramp comes out like that, and that's working the way it's supposed to. The problem that a lot of people have been having and that I've talked about is that they can't get the battery ramp to go back in place properly, but mine seems to be okay. So that is not an ongoing issue, I guess, or it's just a random thing. But the door, that seems to have been a problem talked about a lot, and the smokestacks not wanting to stay up in place. Another quality control issue are the fuel tanks here, because they're upside down and backwards. So I want you to take a look at this. And now we bring out this, the original one. The longer bar is at the bottom and the two smaller ones are at the top here. So that is incorrect on that one. So what they had to have done to do that is that these had to have been reversed. Technically, it doesn't really have a negative effect on the vehicle. It just isn't correct. And I think technically this would be something that somebody could step on to climb up. But yeah, this is incorrect, but not a deal breaker. Oh, and just real quick, as we're showing the other effects on that one, you'll note the smokestacks on this one actually are, there's like, you can actually feel a spring in there holding it in place. So we can still pull them out and put them down and then put them back up, and they go in place and they sit in there well. The door still opens. And even though this one is so old and worn out, it stays shut better than the new one does. And then the battle ram pretty much acts the same way. You know what? I think we've covered almost everything that's on here except for the battle base part. So these things are wrong. Not a deal breaker, but kind of awkward. This thing, however, while mine does go in position correct, and that's a problem a lot of people had, was that it won't go back in. It does have a hair trigger on it. You don't even have to touch the button in order to get that to occur. So let's do the last part of this vehicle, I guess, now. See, that really shouldn't be doing that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. So, when you pull this back... Oh, funny. Really funny. So, it was just... It kept on launching when it had it back there, and now it's not doing it. Alright, so... That goes down, that goes up. Then this is supposed to turn like this to be the radar dish. And that's the mobile battle base right there. This is the missile launcher. We haven't put anything in there yet. They were nice enough to already have the sticker in place for the computer. I am not going to complain about that. I would prefer as many stickers as possible be in place already. Oh. So here's our missile for it. TVASAT. I don't know why that's written on there. I don't believe anything's written on the original one. This is kind of a grayish plastic. It slides in there. And you launch it with that thing. Now, let's take our original one. Hopefully it still works. It should. I don't know, guys. I kind of felt a little more satisfied by that launch than the other one. All right, let's do this one more time. I don't think the camera is showing how high this is going on this one. Now, we are going to do our best to position this in the same spot. Oh, that missile is weak sauce right there. There it goes again. I kind of wonder how much different the weight is here. Let's find out. I'm going to try putting the old missile in here. See how far it goes. Experimentation, my friends. Experimentation. That's weird. All right, so the original missile in the original Rhino does launch further up and back than this missile does, even in the old Rhino. And in the new Rhino, they don't launch anywhere near as far. Oh, well, that one really sucked. But so I am going to have to assume that the spring in the new one is not as good as the old one, which definitely seems to be a bit of a issue with this thing anyway, because again, since these things, this stack specifically over here keeps falling forward, I would say that they went cheap on the springs And I don't really know. I don't know how difficult it would be to take this stuff out and replace springs. I wonder if Toy Polloi is picking up any of these. But, like, it doesn't even feel like there's a spring in here at all. Which maybe that's the problem. Maybe there isn't a spring in here and there's supposed to be. And that's why it doesn't stay in place properly. The door, on the other hand, I can't give an explanation for that one. That's just crappy workmanship. Probably a design issue. So that being said, we do have this winch. And it's supposed to go back here somehow, and I don't know how. So we will have to open up the instructions. All right, so this thing has the massive instructions like the Condor did, only bigger. Be honest, we don't need that much of that information. Let's read this off. Attach winch accessory to all-terrain vehicle. Wind the winch to retract the cord. That's it. It doesn't say anything about anything to stick on there or anything else. And looking at that, it doesn't even look like it's designed to like plug into place or anything like that. And then we got the directions for Tbob in there too. So let's take the all-terrain vehicle off again. You know, it is funny that so many people are complaining about this thing not staying in place when I can't even get it to come off. So did I jack this up? Because I thought these things were moving a lot easier before. By the way, that's the suspension for the all-terrain vehicle. Apparently, this is just supposed to slide in there. Okay. So this is supposed to fit in here like this. Okay. So there we go. It's fit in there like that. Oh my God. Hey, on the plus side, they got pins in there, but apparently the cord doesn't really move. Oh my God, this is stupid. Let's see. Turn it a little bit. Will that? I thought maybe, because this thing, it screws, it moves, it kind of pulls up. It's almost like a screw, honestly. But the winch does not move. I can feel where it would turn if this was pushed in enough. But this thing, you can't even get the rope to come out of it at all, really. So that's a fail. But yeah, it just kind of snaps in there like that. So it's a new accessory that doesn't work. That is something I have not heard anybody else talk about yet. So this may be a new one for this. Before we do stickers, we're going to talk about the figures. First up, we have our buddy Matt Trakker here, and he's got his masks. The original style and updated or enlarged style. I do have my original Matt Trakker here. And I'm just going to say this was the extended mask originally, but I apparently as a kid tried to make it look like his regular mask and failed. Well, I mean, it does look like the original mask. It just doesn't stand his head very well. See? But anyway. They've updated his hair a little bit. Let's talk about figure size here. Because a lot of the problems seem to be coming from the fact that the figures are different heights. Oh, for crying out loud. But in all truth, these two actually do appear to be kind of the same size. or height. Let's go back to back here. Like literally back to back. These guys are about the same size. Now, if I remember correctly, when I did the review for the Brad Turner figure, it did look like the new one was taller, but this one does, like I said, appear to be roughly the same size. That being said, something else to note with these ones. Now, the original figures, the arms only spun and the leg only spun up forward. The newer figures do have the ball joints, so something you need to be aware of, because this is something I saw in one of the videos. Because they've got the little additional stuff on the legs, if you try to pull the leg out too far, it can break the figure, because this will get caught on the side there and just basically pull out the ball joint from the crotch. And by that, the ball joint is attached to the crotch, so it breaks it to do that. As far as articulation goes, we still have the head spins around. I don't know if there's a ball joint in there or not, but if there is, it does not move really in any other direction except for twisting around. The arm can move up and go around. No additional articulation in the elbows or the hand. Same with the other side. No waist swivel, which again is kind of a shame. They could have added that in there. We can kick forward about that far. We can kick back only about that far. And we can kick out that far with that leg. So he goes up to the little silver thing there. However, we can only kick that far with that leg because of that thing getting in the way. I would almost call that a pocket knife holder, honestly. As far as the details go, there's both more and less details, I'd say, on the new one in a way. So, for example, the vest here looks like it's more armor plated on the new figure. It's more streamlined looking, obviously, like with our Brad Turner figure. There's a little bit more detail up here on these little silver bits. And this is more looking like cloth on his protection here, where this looks more like plates. So there is that. His masks, that fits on his head just fine. That's without the effect. Here's the same mask with, well, not quite the same, but the mask with the effect and the bigger part. Since that is what this mask here used to be originally, I'm going to put that back on him and try to do another height comparison back to back. It looks like they are still coming out to be about the same height. So let's take that out. Let's take that out and let's put his helmet on and let's fit him into the cab. Again, you're going to need to be careful with those legs. And this is something else too, now that I think about it. You'll notice that there's a different amount of bend in the hip area on the new figures than there are on the originals. We get basically a 90-degree bend at the hip. We get only about a 75-degree bend on the hip on the new figures. So that plays a role in how difficult it is to put the figure in place here. Because again, you also have to be careful because you don't want to break anything because of the additional sculpting there. And because there's no like thigh cuts to rotate anything. So that's kind of like he doesn't want to fit in there right. Let's take our original mat tracker. The original one fits in just fine. There are no problems getting them in there. And again, that's because of the way the hips are designed. They've updated the articulation on these figures, but they did not update the space that they fit in. So that's a problem. So you have to force him in there. This is going to become more of an issue when we get to this part. So we got a Bruce Sato here. Original style with the enlarged mask. As in, the mask size is enlarged, not the name of the mask. And once again, we compare him to this. Holy crap. In the case of the Bruce Satos, however, there is a distinct height difference going on here. You know what? I'm kind of curious. Yeah. Bruce is, in fact, shorter than Matt Trakker. And actually, this one is a little bit shorter than Matt Trakker, too. So why is... That is interesting. Because the original toy, Bruce, is definitely shorter than Matt Trakker. The new one is shorter. Oh. Oh, shit. I just ran him over. Big scientific. Yeah, there's a huge difference in the height there, too. So they did actually give us the different height difference, but he's still taller than the original one. Our two mats are about the same height. The new one, however, is taller. So we have his original mask here. Oh, Jesus. That is a tight fit. You hear that? That is not a pleasant sound. The detailing definitely looks better, though. Oh, man. I'm expecting the head to pop off with the mask. It did not. I wonder if this is a looser fit. Yeah, that's actually a looser fit right there. Not as worried about that one coming off. Or coming off. Yeah, actually. So let's go ahead and put Bruce here. We got to be... Oh, shit. So he's got additional sculpting, too. So we have to be extra careful. And actually, look, from just what I just did, it looks like we've already fatigued the plastic there. So right here, we've already fatigued the plastic a bit. So Bruce, we can only move that leg that far on him. You see that? That's as far as that will go because of the sculpting in the leg. So if we put Bruce here in the co-pilot seat, the ejector seat does not work at all. Meow. Meow. Whoops. Oh, for goodness sake. Let's go ahead and put the old figure in there. Yeah, it works fine with the old figure. Does not work with the new figure. Go figure. You can't put him in a seat. You cannot put this figure in a seat because of his leg there. Because you cannot bend it all the way up. And remember, with the new figures, it was already hard enough trying to get the figures in place in there in the first place. So there is no reason to put... You just can't put him in there. He's not going to work. All right, okay. The seat's not going to work with him in there. And let's be honest, even for your display, this is how that guy's going to fit in there in this display. If you have him in there like that. I hope he's coming in. So you got to put them in head first to get them in there. Oh, yeah. There we go. Sort of get the door. I mean, this door doesn't want to close anyway, but you can barely get the doors to close at all without holding them and having the two figures in there. Well, let's just go ahead and do a quick mask comparison, I guess. The detailing on the new one is definitely a lot better. I will go with that. It looks so much nicer than the old one did. We got multiple colors in there. The sculpting looks better. It's just, seriously. Every time you take that off, it feels like his head's going to come off with it. Trakker's helmet. Again, we got more colors in there than we did previously. But there's not really much difference to the design itself. Although, oddly enough, this one the new one has almost less detailing than the original one. So hopefully you guys can kind of see that, especially down here at the, where it kind of meets the shoulder area. Let's go ahead and, well, let's take a look at the effects real quick. So you can put the smoke in the stacks. That doesn't help the weight issue there at all. Again, that door doesn't want to close. All right, this is going to be kind of goofy as hell too. All right, so look at that. That little tiny pin. And then this big thick one. Does it still fit? No, it does still fit. But that is a weird angle. It's kind of like wants to shoot it up. Well, let's take a look at Scott Trakker and T-Bob really fast, because I'm not going to do a separate video for these two. So this is Tbob. As far as articulation goes on him, his head turns. And his arms spin around. Holy crap, wait a minute. Okay. For a moment there, I thought maybe the hand was a separate piece from the rest of the arm. It still might be, but it might be glued in there. And he rolls. Because in the 80s, they couldn't figure out a way to give him legs. So now you transform him into a vehicle, his little scooter thing. You push his arms in. Oh my god, that does not sound good. And then you drop him like that. Then you have Scott Trakker here. You know, I actually had the original toys for this too, and I don't have them in my collection anymore. But his head spins. Again, it probably has a ball joint in there, but it doesn't move a whole lot. His flesh is painted on his shirt, by the way. He does still just have the hinges going sideways, round. Same with his legs. He just has the hinges on there. No ball joint. So he's actually got less articulation than the other figures do. They got paint on his hands, by the way, too. And then you're supposed to peg him onto the... Okay, look at those pegs, and then look at the holes in his feet. Also, his legs don't come together all the way, so you got to push them together if you want to even attempt to get his feet on those pegs. Now, the original toy did have these, as I recall. Oh, for God's sake. However, this is not going well. There, we got one leg in place. Oh, we got the second leg in place. That sucks. That sucks bad. Ramen Toys is supposed to be working on a Tbob and Scott. I really hope they do a lot better job. And I'm not sure, like, I don't, like I said, I don't have the original one anymore. Wow, that is really loose, too. The only thing that holds that in place is his arms being there. Or his other wheels being there. So Tbob is too tall in his robot mode and too short in his vehicle mode for this set. This is disappointing as well. So for our last order of business, let's go ahead and do my most favorite part of all. Oh, let's get that out of here. Sticker time! So here's our sticker sheet. Some of the oh, okay, so this is sticker 11, but they forgot to actually put the 11 on it. Oh, wait. By the way, these things, they're on there correct in the picture, in the artwork. So let's go ahead and do this. Oh, Christ. By the way, I did find this thing again. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I can do it that way. Once again, by the way, again, the stickers are too big. Remember with the Condor? Oh, yeah, that was one of the other complaints that people had, where the stickers were too big. And you can see that here really easy. Oh, I just scratched the sticker too. Yeah, this is going to be fun. The one that says M.A.S.K goes back there. You know, I'm just going to say the stickers feel cheap as hell too. Well, that's not straight. Oh, that is so harrowing. Now it's all kind of like twisty and bent. Shit. All right, that's a little straighter. All right. So on this side here, we need sticker number 9, which is this one. Which again, stickers are too big. Sticker number 7, which is this long one, goes back here. So we'll try to line that part up there. And again, it's a little bit too long, but it does follow the curve, so that might be okay. So if we keep going this way, then we need to take sticker number 8 and put it in there, which is this lovely one right here. And what I am thinking is that we might be able to use that overlap to our advantage in this case. Put it like this. Oh, fuck. Look at that. Oh, shit. I just ripped it too. Oh, that is so craptastic. I am going to do something I don't really want to do. And we're going to hope that it lines up. There we go. I wonder if Toy Play will put together stickers for this thing. All right. So with some modification, we got 8 in place. Now it looks like on this side, it's saying 3 and 5. Why? Oh. 3 goes there, 5 goes there. God, this is going to be a pain in the ass. We're definitely going to have to use something here. Now that's about as close to good as it's going to get in that case. Although, I guess, shit. If I'd been smart, I should have started it over on this side. But I ain't smart. Number 5. This would be so much easier if you could take the door off. Sure you could, but I'm not sure it would go back on. Again, it's too long. Then this side needs sticker number 1. This is almost as worse than putting the stickers on the Ecto 1. Like, on the one hand, this is nice because it's got, like, the little ditches to kind of put it in, the grooves. On the other hand, the stickers aren't the right size, so... So then we gotta do the same thing with this one. I feel like this is even more of a reason to support Makina. Hopefully they can keep still making their versions, because their versions are 10 times better than this. So then sticker number 6 goes here. I'm going to try, since I started the other one on the back of the door, I'm going to try to do that here again so that the overlap goes forward. And that's at an angle. And that sucks balls. There we go. And our last sticker for this side goes all the way around here, and that is sticker number 4. I'm not gonna lie, for a moment there, I was kind of wondering why this had a longer sticker, but I think we'll start this from back here. Oh, that one went on nicely. So how do I feel overall on this one? All right, so let's talk about this. The stickers are too big. They did not size them well. You did see me actually in real time cut the one down just to get it to fit in properly. The rest of them are okay, but that was definitely the worst. I wish I thought better on how to do the one sticker on the one side too. The figures themselves, they overly sculpted the legs. Like, honestly, they should probably consider not putting any of that stuff on the newer ones for the next wave, just to avoid some of these issues that we're having. Like I said, I watched one video where the guy had said that he didn't show it because it was recording at the time, but he snapped Bruce's leg off, and I can see how easy that would be to do. Tbob, I don't know, something doesn't feel right about Tbob and Scott. Oh, and the instructions say you're supposed to push down on Tbob's head to transform him into scooter mode. Nah, that's stupid. I mean, it works, but stupid. I don't know why they didn't. It honestly seems to me like they didn't actually play test any of these figures and vehicles. Like, I definitely think that there's a spring missing from the smokestacks, and that's why they don't want to stay in place when they're up. And also, when they designed the blast effects, I don't know what they were thinking, but the top of the smokestack is at an angle, so you need to have that angle built into the blast effect. And they don't have that in there. That's why when you put it all the way in, the blast effect looks like it's angling upwards a bit. You can really see it on the side with Bruce right now. I feel like I got kind of lucky with some of the other quality control issues that I've heard them talk about. So far, the Battle Ram has managed to generally stay in place as long as I don't do too much with it. And it does lock all the way back in place. It just, again, has a hair trigger. The Winch, on the other hand, is the one where I have not heard anybody talk about that in the videos that I've seen. So maybe they didn't even bother throwing it in there, or maybe because it wasn't an original piece, they didn't really think about it too much. But I can't get that to move at all. That cord will not come out of there. So something's wrong with that design too. I'm not having the same problems getting the all-terrain little mini vehicle in the back off of it like other people have. So I'm counting myself lucky on that. I'm not having the same problem that other people have had where they can't get the all-terrain vehicle to stay in place when it's hooked up. Mine is working just fine. In fact, as you noticed earlier, I was having trouble getting it off. I don't mind the recolorings on some of this stuff. This does not look like a more premium paint job like I was expecting, because the way it looked when they were talking about it, I thought the whole thing was supposed to have a metallic sheen to it, and this does not have that metallic sheen to it. The only thing that seems to make this as a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive is the color, the missile launcher, the missile, and the addition of Scott and T-Bob. Other than that, I do not see that metallic coating that I was led to believe it would have. But overall, this isn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. You know, they definitely needed to do a little bit more work on this before they put it out. That door is crap. It needs to stay on there better. Like, I'm sure part of the reason why it's looser, or the reason for it to be looser, is because of that ejection seat. But it doesn't have to be that loose. It could still close, and should still close. And there's no excuse for those smokestacks to not be able to stay in place. Like I said, I am thinking that maybe they did not put a spring in there that's supposed to be in there that was in the original toy. But the only way to learn that would be to actually take apart one of these toys. And unless I find a Rhino at a toy show that's cheap enough to make that worthwhile, I ain't doing it. But I want to get your guys' opinion in the comments below on this one, definitely, for sure. And just and I want to know if you, like me, thought that there was supposed to be more of a metallic sheen to this. But I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please feel free to like that smash button. And if you want to see more of my nonsense in the future, you can subscribe. We've got 2 more M.A.S.K vehicles to go for the first wave. And as it turns out, I don't actually have the Switchblade helicopter, so I'll be doing that one just like normal, I guess. But I thank you for watching. Peace and love.